Alright, I'm going to do a video on swapping out the alternator on my 2004 Dodge Sprinter. That is the existing alternator, and it looks like I do have a leak. Once that's off, I'm going to see if I can't locate that leak as well. I don't know, that leak could be causing the issue with the alternator actually. So the first thing to do is to actually disconnect the negative battery cable. I actually have my vehicle up on a lift, so I can't show you that. But then the second thing to do is you have to get in there with either, let's get up in there, that's a T, I think it's a T50 or T60, or you can use that 12 point. That's a 12 point socket as well. Off the top of my head, I think it's a 12 point, like 16 or 17 or an 18 deep wall, and you pull it towards the driver's side, and that's what loosens the belt. And then what you'll do is you'll just slide that off the pulley and just leave the belt in its place. That way you don't lose all your positioning. There is 4 bolts. They're T12. There are 2 here, and then if you look up in there, there's 2 there. It's pretty straightforward from what the manual says. I'll probably add those pictures. And if there's any tips or tricks along the way, I'll obviously record them as well. Okay, so this bolt is an E12, so you'll need an E12 socket. You'll need an 8mm socket for that little stud. And then the nut that holds the positive cable on is a 12mm. And then yeah. Okay, I just wanted to do a video, and this is how, I don't know if I showed it to you taking it off, but this is what you need to do in order to get that off. You're going to have to loosen up that resonator regardless. So you have to loosen that resonator hose up, and then you'll have access to get that swivel head up on there, both of them, the top, the left and the right, up top there. That's what you got to do. I got a ratchet, makes it go a lot faster. And then I'll probably pull a ratchet off and just torque it up by hand to get a good, get them good and snug. Once that's done, that's pretty much it. Just got to hook those. All right. It's a hot one today. So I'm putting everything back together. As you can see, I got the water pump set. I used Ultra Gray. That is finishing setting up. They recommend 24 hours. It's like 105 degrees with like 60% humidity. Feels like 100% humidity, so that's actually probably good by now, so I'm going to give it a little while longer. I wanted to get that on there though, so I could kind of do the alternator as if, you know, I didn't have to fool with all that. So it's a little tricky to get it back in there in the right spot, and you got to make sure you get all your brackets lined up too. So what I would recommend is in this position, let me step back. In this position, you can see your bolts, you can see your holes, and you have good access to it. So what you want to do is you want to hand thread these in to the bolts. You want to start them and pull them back and do it up there. You got to get your hand up in here and kind of spin it with your fingertip. If you got any nails or your thumbs, or if you can put a socket on there too and spin the socket by hand if you want, and make sure that's at least started. This one was a little tricky. If you can see right there, it's in the hole and it's lined up. So once you have that started, I actually pretty much threaded this one in the whole way. But I'm gonna take that one back out and slide that bracket on there. But the tricky ones are done. That one up there, you gotta do the same thing too. This one might be a little difficult if you can't see where that's at. You want to start, I would recommend hand starting them all though, because you don't really want to strip any of these holes. I'm going to work on that, and then once that's done, then it's just a matter of connecting those back up, and you should be good to go.